We're speaking with Katya Zotova, a principal with Pamplona Capital Management. Thanks so much for being with us. Tell me a little bit about your company and about the team that you're working with.
Well, thank you. We're pretty new actually to the scene. Our company was funded a couple of years ago by the former minority shareholders of Team KBP. We have a very great dream of building a global portfolio of oil and gas assets, or companies, or whichever way we can define that. Our team is quite diverse. We have a bunch of technical people. We have former bankers as well. 3 of us come from the oil companies, actually majors. I am originally from Shell. I spent a couple of years in investment banking. We have a couple of technical people who came from BP or Team KBP. We also have a former banking professionals. So it's a great team. We have a lot of enthusiasm that cannot be curbed. So we're really having fun.
Well, that enthusiasm seems to have served you pretty well, because I understand you're pretty close to signing a significant deal. Can you tell me about that and where that stands?
Absolutely. It's probably days away from closing, so fingers crossed. It's the acquisition of RWE, which is the oil and gas division of RWE, large German utility. That deal is exciting for us because it represents a platform. And for a new entrant, the platform is pivotal. And what do I mean by platform? It's essentially a combination of having a producing base, running room, significant running room on the exploration and development front, but also quality of the team is very important. And DEA has all of that. It's got 15 countries where it operates. It's got a team that has great reputation, and it has a lot of potential as well. So we're very excited.
So is that the type of deal that could serve as a template for future deals for your company?
Yes, absolutely. We will, of course, be looking to add additional assets into DEA, but DEA for us is a platform for EMEA, essentially. So for Southeast Asia, for instance, it will have to be another platform. Or if we look at Latin America, or North America, or Africa, I think entering into a new region is so much easier, so much better. You put yourself in a completely different competitive position if you get a platform, access to a platform straight away.
What is attractive about Southeast Asia to you right now? How does it compare to other regions? Is it more dynamic, more challenging? What would you say about Southeast Asia?
We're very excited about Southeast Asia for a number of reasons. It's got very strong growth potential. We think that if you look 20, 30, 50 years from now, I believe personally that this is where the center of the world will kind of be shifting to, because if you think about the population dynamics, if you think at the economic development compared to Europe, compared to the US even, the pace of growth, at the logistics, at the interconnectivity of the region, it is actually, and purely just coming back to demographics, if you think about the pace of growth in Asia, it's probably going to represent the concentration, the nexus of growth. Yeah. And if we think about oil and gas sector, then obviously the growth dynamics, the supply and demand dynamics in Southeast Asia is very attractive. So we think that it's more likely that the gas prices here are going to stay in the upper range for longer. We think that there is still a lot of opportunities that need to be explored. We think that the quality of the assets is very high, and of course you have to understand the specifics of the region, the relationships, the importance of understanding of the local culture. All these things come into play, and it makes Asia very special, but at the same time very attractive.
When you're looking at all of those things coming into play, how much do geopolitical risks come into play when you're planning on looking at where to invest? I mean, you have things like disputed islands in the South China Sea. You have coups that happen on occasion. How do you factor all of that into your investment decisions?
That is of huge importance, and it's not just geopolitical risks, but these things influence also your fiscal risks. So for instance, the more unstable the regime is, the more likely it is that your ownership rights or your taxation would be changed, and that's something that is very critical to the valuation. So what we typically do is we take a view on the pricing of such risks, as any other investor would, But it is really, the truth is in the eye of the beholder. Your appetite for risk will define how much you're going to discount or how much premium you're going to add to an asset when looking at it. But it is important.
Yeah. A big discussion, of course, here at the council meeting is the declining commodity prices. So how does that impact you?
Well, I'm going to say that we're probably on the sort of looking at it from the upside point of view, because of course it's easier to be on the buy side and have a fully funded investment capital, because everything of course just got much cheaper, but at the same time it's not as simple. A lot of opportunities will be more available than they used to be a little before, but there will be still a lot of competition, and I think that it's quite important to make sure that you time your acquisitions right, that you approach the management at the right time, that you do your homework right, you pick the assets that can sustain the lower oil price cycle. And it is a cycle. It will go back up. It's a question of when. For me, the most important factors about that are really the fact that you have exploration being cut down significantly. So if you're looking at growth assets, you need to make sure that you have the ability to actually deliver that growth. If exploration is not being invested in, then it's quite tough to build a sustainable timeline.
But let's just look at with that in mind, with the prices dropping and having to have the right timing and all of the right things into place. What are you hoping to do here at this meeting this week? Are you looking for partners? Are you looking for deals? What do you hope to come away with from this meeting?
The change in the oil price dynamics has certainly changed the market landscape. I think that there will be more opportunities coming to the market than were previously available. I also think that the competition will be fierce. And the competition will be fierce from both private equity and majors. And if you look at the balance sheets of some of the majors, they're pretty heavy on cash, so they can afford a few things. It will be an exciting time, I think, for everybody. What I would like to achieve out of this particular meeting is to get a better view on the dynamics of the region, to meet a few of the local players. Again, we are looking for a platform, but we're also taking a very long-term view. So if I could take, if you will, a Lego approach and combine a small opportunity with additional acreage, for instance, and build something exciting out of that, then that's also the approach we could take. So I'm here to explore, I'm here to meet people, I'm here to hopefully engage into long-term exploratory discussions and see where that takes us.
We've been speaking with Katya Zotova with Pamplona Capital Management.